Now, get ready to talk hockey. Streaming from the Oilers Live Studio. Subscribe or follow today.
Hey, it's Michael here with the Tuesday edition of Oilers Live. A couple of amateurs trying to figure out the mute button tonight, and I think we got it straight. We're all good. Just wait, say something, Dash, so I know I can hear you.
There's only one amateur on this call.
All right, well, I'm glad you admit to it.
It's the first step.
It is the first step. Welcome, Adam. Already we got a Coyotes fan in the bunch. Adam Bonilla on YouTube says, my Yotes take on the Oilers tomorrow. I'm excited. All right, so we spotted the Coyotes fan out there. We found him.
That's the second one I've ever met. Right on.
I've met a few Coyotes
Just
fans.
Adam and Austin Matthews. That's the only two I know.
Adam and Austin Matthews. You know, completely off topic, but I do want to go.
What topic are we even on right now, buddy?
On topic, but I do want to go to a Coyotes game. Like I want to go.
I'll be at one tomorrow.
Yeah, I know this, but I want to go to one in the college arena. And
the Mullet Dome.
Mullet Dome. Is that's what it's called, right?
Mullet Arena, yeah.
Mullet Arena.
Mullet Arena.
What is that named after? It's got to be like somebody.
It's a haircut. You were in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that can't be. It can't be.
Google it.
I'm gonna have to. Let me Google that for you. All right, welcome everybody. I have got back my good buddy and pal. At least he is right now. We'll see after the show. Mr. Dash in the Park, at Dash in the Park on Twitter. He's here to talk some Oilers hockey. He was at the game last night. It's too bad the Oilers weren't. And he got to see firsthand. What was the end shot total? Like 53 shots? Was it?
Well, no, 47 saves, so 50 shots to, 50 shots. I don't know, 20, 24 or something maybe. 40-17 after two.
Yeah.
Or 40-19 after two. 40-19 after two. I don't know. Maybe all I know is I just kept watching that first power play, and I looked at my wife and said, if they keep giving Alexander Ovechkin shot like this from his office, this is going to be a long night. And the funny thing is they didn't really get another shot to Alex on his office. They just kept feeding him to Oshie instead, who had 8 shots on the night.
Well, but how many times?
7 of which I think were high danger.
How many times did Ovi even bobble the puck? On his way. Like, could you imagine if he got half those? It would have been 60, 70 shots. We would have been talking Ben Scrivens territory.
Oh, we brought that up. My wife and I were at that game too. So yeah, we thought, well, I mean, they're on pace for 108 shots at one point in the game. I think I saw the math. So
it's crazy. So Adam says it's a blast. I assume being at the Yotes Arena there, Mullet Arena. It's named after the family that donated money to ASU to build the arena. So awesome that a hockey arena is named after a famous hockey haircut. I mean, it should. How did that ever become hockey hair? That's what I want to know. It's awful. Did you ever have hockey hair?
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Back when I had hair. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I had the party up top the business up top and party in the back. Yeah, you couldn't even see my nameplate on my jersey at one point in time. I think it was so long. I've got picture proof. I'll show you.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Never seeing that. like where we're at. Like where we're at in this.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you in 6 weeks, and we pull up here and we start talking about mullets. So it's exactly where I thought this conversation was going.
I'm trying to, what the reality is, I'm trying to avoid talk about last night's game. I mean, it was a tough one. It was a tough one to watch. The one good I will take out of last night's game, and it didn't even turn out to be a good, is I thought something I've been hoping and wishing for a long time would be that a Oilers goalie stole a game for us. Now he didn't, but I don't think that's on him. He did everything in his power last night, made some great saves, just fantastic positionally. Like there were times where it looked like he didn't make a great save, but there was the one where he was out at the top of top of the crease and Ovechkin was in the slot, and Ovechkin had no place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, that's just good positional play, like good positional goaltending, good everything. He, he was cat-like. He was moving really well. He did everything great. That is one major bonus to take from last night.
I think it's probably the only bonus ultimately. Maybe there's a couple small caveats in there, I think, as well, if you really want to break it down. But I mean, man, without Skinner, that game is 7-2 going into this third period, right? Like, are we still talking about Bourchard can opening himself if it's the 7-2 goal, or the 8-2 goal? It probably doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
So
TJ Oshie had the opportunity to break Daryl Sittler's record last night, and I am not even joking in that statement. Man,
he was flying, wasn't he? Yeah.
He kept getting. I can't count. I mean, I did, and I went and looked after. It was 8 shots, but I can't count how many times he got a shot in the slot where the forwards were above him, and the pass was coming from behind the net. Like, where are you? And the one from Strome ends up being a nail in the coffin, kind of, or the insurance or whatever. But like, it was something else to watch. I've never seen live. Here's what I thought of in my head a couple times. Mike, you've been there. I know there's no doubt you've been there. You remember those beer league games or those rec league games where there's like 5, maybe 6 forwards and 3D?
Yeah. Like every beer league rec league game. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, sometimes there's 2-3 lines and you luck out when you play on Saturday afternoon, but right. It's that 10:45 start. Nobody wants to be there. It's the first guy to the door. You get on the ice. Nobody gives a shit if you back check or not, because you're all just dog ass tired. It's okay if you let a guy walk you. It's okay to be the second guy into every freaking battle. It's okay that you can't start a cycle, not once, the entire game. That's what I felt like I was watching last night. Like, that's what kept coming into my head live, watching these guys going, what the actual fiddlesticks is happening? This is stupid. Like, the D were okay, but our D aren't that good. At least they're not playing that well. So, you rest on the laurels of a average playing defensive core, and the forwards, like you said, like, I showed up to this podcast better than 12 forwards showed up to that game last night. And that might've been Draisaitl's worst game I've ever seen him play.
Yeah, I was, there wasn't lots to take from that game. I said, yeah, I mean, it was Skinner, and some stranger on YouTube says it was the sight of a construction crew. One guy working and the rest just standing and watching.
Oh, what a fantastic analogy. Yeah, for sure. As these guys sit in the core of downtown Edmonton with nothing but construction going up around them. That is what happened for sure. Yeah. Who was wearing the white hard hat was Draisaitl. Like, he just sat there and watched it all happen and went to the truck and had a dart. Yeah. Like, it was ugly. Look at the shot totals even from our defensemen, right? Like, I think CC led the team, Kulak second, Nurse third on our team in shots. Draisaitl gets 1, McDavid gets 1.
How'd you feel about you saw it in person? So I mean, I always think the vantage point in person is always different than what you see on TV.
Of course.
But initial thoughts on Yamamoto's game coming back?
He looked like a guy that came back from an injury that still. I mean, he looked like 11 other forwards that hesitated to go into every puck battle.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think he's still probably not 100%. Scored a goal all year, man. But the way that those forwards contributed to the offense was very, very minimal. You want to talk about small wins outside of Skinner is maybe that Jesse Puljujärvi pulls off 8 hits. That's maybe the most physical I've ever seen Jesse play.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the most physical. He's like, from a physical standpoint this year, he's been a beast. Right? Like, he
almost got into another fight last night. It was close to starting, and I thought to myself, are you kidding? Puljujärvi's going to have our first 2 fighting majors of the year?
Yeah.
What does that say?
I mean, that is the one. I've been critical of Puljujärvi at times this year. Not, it's hard to be critical because sometimes it's hard to put your finger on what it is you're being critical of with him, right?
Yeah.
But I mean because it all comes down to just not finishing plays. Like, if I had that guy's hockey sense, right, and
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the right spots. It's just a lack of finish, and that's about it. But every other aspect of his game, he's improved upon in my mind. Like he's using his body this year. Like he's a wrecking crew, and people hate him. Like, how could you hate this guy that's smiling down the ice? But like he's in there. He's he's in the goal. He's in the face of the goalie. He's doing all the right things.
I think the thing with Puljujärvi is that he's a high event hockey player, right? Like there's always something happening around him, and it depends on what kind of hockey fan you are. You can watch and look for all the times that looks like he's got the width of Chara when he's got his arms out and his stick out, and all of a sudden bang, he's poke checked you, or he's bumped you off the puck, or he's created a turnover. But the problem is like just as many times as if he creates 10 more turnovers in a game than everybody else, he also has the puck die on his stick 10 more times than everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's this wash. And so as a fan, you can be like, well, it's great that he creates these offensive opportunities for his teammates. They need to capitalize on him. And, like McDavid and Draisaitl will stop looking for him. You could tell, like, there was a couple of times JP was in the slot and Draisaitl just deferred to either the back of the net or the defenseman.
And so, that he's taken off the top line last night. What about midway? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yamamoto's moved up, a guy that hasn't played in how many games gets moved up to the top line, and not because Yamamoto was
0 goals in 14 games this year,
and Yamamoto wasn't having some terrific game that he got.
I mean, JP has one.
I mean, that's the thought for me is like, is he bumped down not because he's not playing well enough, but because they're avoiding him right on the ice? I mean, I've talked about this at length on here, which is at some point you don't trust a guy, and that's why it's hard to. I do find it hard to find fault in his game, with one exception, and that's finish.
100%.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Kelly, Beer League.
You know what? Like there's a lot of guys out there that are just. Have you not sat on the bench with and I can't wait to get into what Kelly says. I teed him up today. Yeah. I just can't wait to, like there's that guy that sits on the bench before, maybe you're on a new team or whatever, or you're on a new team and you don't know these guys, and you say, you know what? I just love to dish, right? Like I'm going to go out and I'm going to create turnovers for you. I'll go dig them out of the corners and I'm just going to dish. I just, get ready, right? Maybe JP's fine with that. Jeff Aid is that player. We played on the same line last game, and he said, I have no fucking finish. But I tell you, he broke up more plays as a winger for me than I've seen in a beer league game in maybe 12 years. He was all over the puck like an octopus, and it's awesome, except that I couldn't finish either that game. So, there we come out of a 5-4 loss. So it's just, I think there's, I'm going to stop comparing beer league to NHL, but we're living in it right now, and that's
Dash is beer league. This actually, yeah. I mean, you're right. We're living it. I mean, how much more beer league is a 14-12 record?
With that effort last night,
and especially with the talent that's in the top. Like that's how a beer league team plays. They got a couple of guys that can skate up and down the ice, handle everybody. Oilers have that. Yeah. And, a good goalie, and then the rest is shit, right?
That was a Div 14 game last night, and the Oilers brought their captain's nephew from the NCAA to play net for them. And he kicked out 50 saves while nobody else did a fucking thing. Anyways, go back to Kelly. We said beer league enough times that he should have a few hits on his website by now.
Yeah, let's. So Kelly's comment here is there are some folks that believe the requested change of style for Yessi has taken away from the rest of his game. Thoughts? I just don't agree with that. I don't
think he had it in the first place.
Yeah. For me, it's I've liked.
There's a hockey IQ
thing
there,
I've liked a lot of thing about his game. I just I don't know. It's maybe like a big old mental block, right?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, Yamo's having the same problem. Yamo's having the same problem.
I mean, there's like 8 Oilers that have played. What did I hear? 7 or 8 Oilers that have played a minimum of 10 games that have 1 goal or less. Like, weren't we talking at the beginning of the year that this was the deepest forward group since Mark Messier in 1990?
So it could be
our bottom 6 right now is hot garbage.
Yeah, no, that's fair, but it could be a deep group. But we're also missing 4 of those top guys.
Did last night not show you how much Zach Hyman stirs the drink?
Oh man, I love Hyman.
He's like, it's hard to say that a guy like that's been the best player when you've got 29 and 97 on your, but it last night just showed me how much of a catalyst he is to that chemical formula.
Yeah.
Well missed. Look at they went through Yamo and JP trying to find that same chemistry. Netta.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, another guy I've talked about ad nauseum, Hyman is he just comes to play every single game. He's got one speed, he's got one mindset, and he
drags them into the fight, pardon the pun, right? Like
our friend from Coyotes territory keeps pushing Nick Ritchie on us. That's why you need Nick Ritchie. Oh,
jeez. Sure.
Yeah,
I'll take him if we can turn him into an Alexei Protash or whatever that guy's name is. Who knew that the Belarusian 6'6" monster could skate like he's on figure skates and get 6 breakaways last night?
There's nothing I hate more than when we make a guy look like he's a 2-point a game guy.
Yeah, this was our version of making the backup goalie look like George Vezina. I heard 2 different podcasts after this where who said it? Both Bruce McCurdy. Oh, and it was after the game on the post-game show when we were driving home. Rob Brown said, "I've never even heard of that guy." Both of those guys.
I actually
look at the size of the brain on McCurdy, and he's never heard of that guy. And he's 6'6" and got 4 breakaways. And he got stoned on the first 3, so he dropped the puck in a drop pass on the 4th one, and then they win the game off of it. Who?
I thought it was one of
those
those moments where I thought maybe he'd had a hell of a season, and I just hadn't heard anything about him. It was like, no, I know that guy. I know, sure, I know that guy.
Yeah, I haven't, but you probably go look at his league stats for the season, and it's probably 4 breakaways, and they were all last night.
Yeah.
Anyways, he looked fast against us.
Did he play with Prince Albert and Draisaitl? I don't know if he played with Draisaitl.
Not sure. Yeah, someone would have to look that up.
I know he played in. They talked about it on the broadcast last night that he played in Prince Albert, and his billet family was in town.
Oh, okay. So I didn't have the announcers being at the game, but
yeah.
I mean, that'd be the 2 imports then, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
if it was.
Yeah, he's from Belarus, so
yeah.
Anyway, he man, that'd be quite the change of scenery going out to PA from anywhere. From anywhere.
Well, I did it, man. I lived there from 8 till 12.
Times, but I've been there.
I started my minor hockey career in Prince Albert playing for Parkland.
Oh man,
Parkland Rangers.
There you have it. We're not just going to talk beer league now. We're going to talk minor hockey.
Oh, let's take it back to when I was 8. It's like a psychologist chair here.
Something you were talking to, or you brought McCurdy into last night, which was Nugent-Hopkins. No, your
what I asked
take
him on Twitter
his
today?
play, yeah, your take on his play for the game was disinterested. Maybe good way to put it.
Yeah, let's just get this thing over with. I thought it was just sloppy. Nugent's pretty crisp with things, right? And even as his defensive coverage, like how many times I said when I mentioned earlier, TJ Oshie gets 8 shots from the slot. Honestly, I think if you go and look, there's like 6 or something that were high danger scoring chances, and 3 or 4 were 5 bell alarm chances. Like, he was wide open in the slot. And like I said, passes are coming from behind the net, and the forwards are above TJ. Like, what's going on? And Nuge is just kind of like, oh, there he is. Like, second guy into the fight every time.
Yeah.
And right, if you're constantly chasing the puck on the cycle and you're the second guy in, you're probably going to lose most of them. And he did it in both ends of the ice. Like, our defensive zone coverage was abysmal by the forwards. Abysmal. And,
I know there was there were a few
well,
times.
and how's this? After the Montreal game, let's give McCurdy as much credit as we can tonight. But after the Montreal game, I heard McCurdy say that in the last 7 periods of hockey, so 2 games in 1 period, the Oilers had given up 7 defensive zone face-off goals. 6 of them took 5 to 10 seconds after the face-off, and the other one took 17 seconds. 5 of the 7 were on the PK.
You'd think they'd be working on the face-off. Honestly, like, I've never.
Brett and I were at practice. There's very, very little systems work. They just ran drills and competed and skated some laps and had some giggles. And
yeah, I mean,
I don't know,
because
there's some.
Yeah, it's noticeable, and obviously teams have noticed it because they're playing to it. Like,
right?
anytime there's a defensive zone face-off, I mean, you got to be fearful that the other team's going to score.
And they won 3 of those face-offs of the 7. He said, "You won 3, and you still got like, it's hard to get 7 goals in 7 periods, dude.
Yeah.
Let alone 7 goals off of face-offs within 5 to 10 seconds. Like, that's ridiculous, right? And what do they come up with as an effort after that happens? After the Montreal game is giving up 14 shots in the first 7 minutes or whatever it was of this game, and 8 on the power play. And, like, I did also hear Tony Brar say that in the last 7 days since they took off for New York and got back from Minnesota, right? Because they went New York, back home, Chicago, back home, right? Minneapolis, 7,875 kilometers in a week.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they looked like last night. Like, they're dog-ass tired.
Let's give them, let's give them that. Let's give them the injuries. How important is this stretch? We saw our buddy Eric Friesen.
Yeah, man.
Posted the, let me find that because I thought that was a great.
That is a fantastic tweet for sure. Like, Eric isn't going to find fantastic stats.
He always finds.
Oilers Nation used him last week. I think Sportsnet used him a couple of times this season already.
So here are the rest of the by NHL rank as of 2 days ago.
Yeah.
22nd, I assume that was Washington. 29th, that's Phoenix. 18th, 19th, 24th, 32nd, 19th. So there are everybody with the exception of 3. This is till the end of December. 3 teams are in the top half of the league.
No.
So we've already killed one of those games. We're going into this stretch of 5 games, assuming that's how Woodcroft and the team look at it. Most teams do stretches of 5.
Chunk it up. Yep. 29th,
18th, 19th, and 24th. This should be, a 5-0 run for a team with, the Oilers pedigree, so to speak. I know we're battling injuries. Everybody's battling injuries.
But it is.
Like,
that's when they call up the pro-tashes of the world.
Yeah. Well, apparently we don't have that. Hey, okay.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah. So we've got this. We've got this. One of the things I want to know, because you're being at the game, you're going to have a bit of a different view. Who was the guy on the team that really stood out to you last night? Who came to play?
Well, Skinner.
Well, outside of Skinner, we know that.
Puljujarvi.
Yeah, Puljujarvi was good. I thought Klim Kostin. He only played 10
I don't
minutes.
think Klim Kostin's really had a bad game, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's true. But he only played 10 minutes last night.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
yeah, he looked great.
How much ice time do we want Klim Kostin to get at the end of the day here when we're competing for a playoff spot? But no, I mean, he does a little bit of everything, kind of, right? Like he doesn't really look terrible in any facet, but maybe that's just kind of what you need is that consistency down there.
Dursa says Holloway had a good game. Yeah, I thought Holloway's game was that was one of his better ones. So, but and here's the thing, when you're talking these guys, like when you're saying Holloway's your best player and Klim Kostin's your best player, that's, it's like I said, if Skinner gets more starts than Campbell, something's gone terribly wrong. When you're
and on
saying
the back end,
Kostin
it might have been Broberry, maybe.
Yeah.
He looked hesitant too, though. There's a lot of times Broberry should have been skating the puck up the ice and he defers and passes and then it throws it into a zone where there's a couple of guys and, creates a turnover because we're playing like shit. So, if he'd have just skated the puck up the ice and took charge, he's our best puck skating defenseman by a mile. So I felt there was quite a few times he could have jumped up in the play. That said, he still made quite a few good plays too. He's probably one of the guys that stood out on D for me, but
yeah, it still seems like he's lacking a little bit of confidence, I'd say. Like that's what it feels like to me. And you got to give the guy a little bit of a break. It's not like he's played a lot of NHL minutes, right?
Yeah.
He's still not playing a lot of NHL minutes. So work the way in. And guys like Fogle you count on to get back, right? McLeod you count on to get back and help these guys out. They're not there. This is a tough stretch. I mean, these are some key guys out of the lineup for the Oilers. But I think that finally, of course, the schedule is in our favor. Any word on Hyman?
Is it? No, wait, let's stop there for a second. Save your question. Is that in our favor? Because what do we usually do against teams that are below us?
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. You could have a million different excuses, right? It's like you talk about, injuries, but the Capitals are, they're injured, right? Teams are dealing with injuries all the time, right? Like that to me, that's what your depth is for, right? And you hope that, and holy shit, guys. I mean, yeah, it's crappy that Kane's out, McLeod's out, Fogle, Hyman, but you got McDavid and you got Draisaitl, which if, us Oilers fans want to say are number one and number two in the world, right? If you believe that, then that should be enough in and of itself. Just keep the puck out of the bloody net for most of the shifts that you're on the ice, especially if you're not going to score goals, then do something else. I mean, the whole, I don't know what it is, but like, if you're not scoring goals, then at least keep the puck out of the net. It's that simple, right? You got to do one or the other. Just make sure you're off the ice, even or a plus. And,
they had 0 Fs to give last night, man. It didn't happen from anybody. And I'm scared Draisaitl's hurts. I don't know. He only played 5 seconds on the PK. He
hasn't been playing PK much though this year.
Wow. Not since,
I
guess, they started to switch it up a bit. Yeah. But I mean, Janmark and Yamo had more shifts than Draisaitl.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Like on the PK you're talking.
No, full game. 26 shifts, I think, by Janmark and Yamo. And I think Dry had 25 shifts or something. Like on natural stat trick.
Time on the ice, though. He blew
Yeah, that's right. But Draisaitl doesn't come off the ice. Yeah. Average time on ice when you're out there, but that's regular for Draisaitl. He always stays out there for a minute and a half.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's just a lot of weird. It was a weird feeling. There was times where it went from electric to like a library in there. So
Yeah.
I got it. I mean, tomorrow's now. Tomorrow, like now is like go kick their ass tomorrow. Come out and get 4 guys off the schneid.
Hey,
And,
we scored first.
right?
We
Yeah, we
scored
scored
first.
and lost. Yeah.
Yeah, we scored first. I mean,
Didn't matter.
That's got to be something. Kelly says Bouchard had a 3-minute shift last night. I don't remember that, but not a big surprise. Yeah, Bouchard, a lot of debate over whether or not that was Bouchard's fault, or, was it a forward challenge or problem? At the end of the day, it was just bad reads. And it's, and it's again,
Two bad reads.
Yeah, it's the same thing, though, when you talk about the bottom 6 forwards. Like, if you're not going to, do anything offensively, which is what you plan for Bouchard, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the very least, keep the puck out of the net, right?
Yeah.
And that's the responsibility that these guys need to have. And there was some talk, some discussion on YouTube about maybe talking about Woodcroft, and then the fact, is there a system? Are they buying into the system? Look, I don't want to start the the coaching conversation, because God knows that's an annual thing in oil country. And I'm a believer in Woodcroft. I'm curious about this practice thing. I'd love to sit through a couple practices and see. There are some keys to this team that, obviously the penalty kill, like, without Skinner, like we were, Washington could have been 100%, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
I mean, Skinner hasn't been awesome on the PK this season. I heard Jason Gregor say today that maybe it was yesterday, my days are blurred, that Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen were 1st and 6th in the league, respectively, for penalty kill save percentage last season. 1st and 6th in the NHL. This year, I believe he said that both of our goalies were in the 40s. Is it a shot volume thing? Maybe last night it was. But you know what? The thing, they gave up 8 shots on that first power play. I'm pretty sure it was the 3rd power play. The Oilers didn't give up a shot. And in the power play before that, Connor scored a shorty.
Yeah. Now that he's scored a shorty this season.
I see how you say that.
Yeah. I mean, is he getting 60 at least? I mean, to me, like, Connor McDavid's a guy that's driven by a lot of different things. And one of them is, like, I honestly, I said it in joking in our group chat, but I mean it. I mean, the guy gets a little taste of a little bit of extra success now on the PK. How many times have you seen him kind of take the puck, take it to center, drop it in? I mean,
he's got a taste for it.
Yeah.
There's a shark with blood in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, has there ever been a player in the NHL? I saw it. I swear to God, I saw it in his eyes last night. And that's not an Aikens reference for all the 1260 fans, but I saw it. Like, there's a switch that kid flips that when he's going to go up on his next rush up the ice, he's scoring, and there's nothing anybody's going to do about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, has there ever been a player that you felt more automatic about? Right? Like, when he's that breakaway, I swear to God, I knew he was scoring. I had my arms in the air in the aisle. We have aisle seats at probably the blue line.
Yeah.
It's just like, you knew it was coming. It's like that goal against the Rangers, that goal against Riley, that goal against Columbus.
You wouldn't have saw it on the broadcast, but they talked about that, right? Which is, which is crazy, right? Like, this is the elevation of McDavid's game into being a goal scorer. He was a goal scorer before. Like don't kid yourselves, right? I mean, everybody knows that. But now he's at an elite level this year.
Went to Gary Roberts training, BioSteel training camp in the off season. Got told by Austin Matthews a few times and reminded that he won the Richard. And Connor said, "Oh yeah, we'll see how long you do that for."
Well, and to me, that's part of it, right? Is the whole Matthews thing, and again being overlooked, for the Hart, like, I just look, the media in this league, and this is a whole different topic, but it pisses me off that everybody's always trying to find somebody to be better than McDavid. Why don't we just stop that conversation? Guys are good. There are other good players. Nobody's saying they're not. But McDavid is far and away the best player in the NHL today. At least
there's some arguing it. He's creeping into the top 5 to 7 of all time, man.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Come on,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
now.
When's the last time somebody led the point scoring race? Like, they lead maybe at the beginning of the season before McDavid hits the ice, but that's it.
Huberdeau last year for one game.
Yeah, for one game. And where is he at now?
I don't know.
Some stranger says this time around it's Robertson. Look, Robertson's a great player. Yeah, absolutely outstanding. What he's doing, absolutely outstanding. Would you put him in the better than McDavid category? No, just no. It's not even. There's just nobody as good as McDavid, and that's just the way it is. It doesn't. To me, there are lots of great players in this league that I think are absolutely talented. Maybe I'd put them in the better than Draisaitl category on occasion. Because Draisaitl is a very up and down player, right? Some games you've got like a guy that I think maybe is better than McDavid on occasion, right? And then other times, like last night, he looks like he just doesn't want to be there. He looks like lazy dry, right? That everybody talks about. And maybe that argument can be made. But
versus one leg Leon in the second round last year.
Yeah. I'm tired of this stuff. Like, I listen to too much NHL radio. Maybe I need to listen to more Oilers radio. more 1260, maybe a little bit more Oilers now.
It's not
more
much
Oilers
better here.
Live. Maybe I need to listen to my recordings more often, but geez, you guys are the only ones.
Well, if you need to help sleep, then that'd be a fantastic. Yeah.
Welcome back. It's been 2 months.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. You're my favorite guy to talk hockey with. Durst is maybe my favorite guy to argue hockey with. But
well, Durst is out there tonight. There's some good conversation on the YouTube channel for those of you that are watching on other places. YouTube's always great. There's some talk about Woodcroft, and in fairness, some stranger, that's his name. I'm not suggesting getting rid of Woodcroft. I just want to see if I'm the only one seeing a problem in the coaching. There seems a disconnect between the coach and the players. Now, before you comment on this, I want to tack onto this. Anytime that we have, what the hell are you wearing? Anytime
you haven't seen the new line of Surveyor Brett shirts on heavyhockey.com?
Nice. Love it.
He's always watching, that guy. Always watching.
Anytime a coach is in trouble with the Oilers, what's the one thing, like what's happening at that point in time? And there could be a million different things. I mean, they're losing. We know that.
The other team is scoring first.
The other team is scoring first.
But death taxes, and the other team scores first against the Oilers.
What do they go to when they're struggling? Draisaitl and McDavid.
The nuclear option.
Line.
Yeah. Which was terrible last night.
Yeah. So what, if you're Woodcroft, I think he's going back to that, frankly, tomorrow.
I think it depends if Hyman's back or not.
Yeah. I want to know, right? Like, is this, but this is, anytime the Oilers are having the biggest challenge, Draisaitl and McDavid, if you haven't played them together for 10, 15 games like that, is great. A game of Draisaitl and McDavid, a game of the nuclear option, 9 out of 10 times it's because the other team didn't see it coming. But when you're the Washington Capitals and Draisaitl and McDavid are getting out on the ice first.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what do what's your plan? What's your game plan when Draisaitl and McDavid are on the ice?
I mean, you line match to make sure that you've got that line shut down no matter what, and then it doesn't really matter otherwise. And when you got those two piled up on line one and you're left with 7 other guys that have got 1 goal in 20 games, you're not exactly going to produce a lot of secondary scoring, right? Like we didn't even get secondary shots from our flipping bottom 6 last night, let alone our secondary scoring. All the shots came from the D.
And you can't tell me that's the only option, right? Like out of all the forwards we have, putting Draisaitl and McDavid on one line is not the only option.
For sure.
You know, you still, like you talk like Nugent, Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Puljujarvi on a line. You can put anybody with McDavid, they'll get a point. Right?
Yeah.
We know that. Rob Brown.
When I played with Mario, he would have get 60 goals that year, right? Following Mario around the ice. He'll be the first to tell you, get yourself in the right spot at the right time.
Draisaitl doesn't need McDavid.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, who was it? Dursa that said, call up Bourgault and feed Holloway and Bourgault to McDavid and let him run?
Yeah, why not?
I'd like to see that for a game. I hate to agree with Dursa, but
it's just, this is like, that's a commonality when the coaching starts to get in trouble with the Oilers, is the lack of creativity on the lines and putting the nuclear option together, thinking that that's your only option. Look, this team never has trouble scoring goals. We scored 2 goals last night in a shitty game. In a shitty game.
I mean, we had 3 high danger scoring chances, or not high danger, 3 5-alarm scoring chances, and scored on 2 of them.
Yeah.
They had 15 5-alarm scoring chances and scored on 3 of them.
The Oilers don't have problems scoring goals. Like that is just not the problem. So you gotta, split them up. That you just, I think once every, as I said, once every 10 games unannounced, right? When you maybe, did you not play Draisaitl and McDavid together last game? You throw them together, tonight.
Nothing would have mattered last game, buddy.
Nothing, but
doesn't matter. Not even a little bit.
Hey, what'd you think of? Were you able to?
You could have put Josh Bolton and you and me on a line, and we would have turned out just fine versus whatever those guys put out.
Did you see while you're in person there, and you maybe even saw it more than we saw on TV? Ovechkin and McDavid. Ovechkin on McDavid all night.
He gave him at least 5 or 6 shots, and there was always an extra shot after the first shot. There is no doubt in my mind.
You know what? I'm
getting on the highlight reel by pounding McDavid into the boards at least once on TSN tonight.
Yeah, and I love the Oilers. I love McDavid, but I love Ovechkin for that reason.
I know. Me too.
Yeah. Wow, what a competitor. Right, like the reason he's doing it. The reason he's doing it is he wants to say, "Look, I don't care who you are. I'm going to be the best tonight." Right.
And his biggest rivalry is against Sid. Really, he doesn't give a.
His rivalry is against anybody who somebody says is better than him.
There you go.
And I love that. Well put. I absolutely love Ovechkin for that reason. Hate him when he's playing us. And for a good reason. I love that Nurse. There's a good clip where Nurse goes and gives him a shot after he gave McDavid about 10, and Ovechkin looks over at Nurse and goes, "What the fuck?" You can totally read his.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's great.
Yeah, for sure. I always remember one of his famous quotes was Crosby was chirping from the bench. And Ovi was on the ice, and Crosby yelled at over at the bench to Wilson and said, "Why don't you fight Reeves? Why don't you fight Reeves?" And Ovi just went like this and looked right at Sid and said, "Why don't you fight me?" And Sid crumpled like he was just, it was like read your lips. I was like, oh, that's an Ovi moment right there.
He's such a competitor. I love him for that.
Look what he did to his countryman in Svechnikov in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Like he's
Svechnikov was never the same until he got 16 hat tricks against the Oilers this year. Hey, 4 career hat tricks, 3 against the Oilers this season.
Even on a hell of a game by one of our goalies, we still let in 3.
Yeah.
Still let in 3. All he needed
40,
was a little.
He had a 940 save percentage.
A little
Get a 940.
bit of defense. That's all he needed.
You can't win when your goalie gives you a 940.
It's gross. That's what
It's
it is.
gross.
The whole game was gross. Gross from start to finish. Could you imagine if Campbell had been in that? Now, what's going on there? What do you think is going to happen?
I thought I was doing a show with Michael Hebert, not Mark Spector. How you doing, Spec? What would have happened if Campbell was in net, Spec? I don't know. You tell us. Starts his bus.
Apparently, I'm having some microphone issues tonight, guys. Sorry, folks. Nothing's changed on my end. I know you can hear me, but it's cutting in and out, apparently. Maybe it's just my soft voice.
Hey.
Soft, silky hands. But I've heard it a couple times. Would have been 7-2. Stal Zemsty is listening in tonight. Thank you, Stal. Always good for some comments post-pod. Stal, appreciate you listening in live. Hey, before I forget, and just to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll continue to talk some Oilers hockey. We're looking for people at the Heavy Hockey Network. Writers, show producers, media content, anything like that. So if you or somebody you know might be good for that, tell them to reach out to myself, or they could reach out to Dash. Anyway, send us a DM. Would love to talk to you. We'll go from there. Had a couple people reach out that were interested, but definitely need some more content and want to go that route. We're going to be putting out together some content for World Juniors coming up, and also Spangler Cup. I will be at the World Juniors, so that'll be fun. I'll be at most of the games in Halifax, if not all of them. I don't know. 21 games.
I don't know if you've heard, but hockey,
games.
heavy hockey is kind of a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I don't know if you heard.
Well, at least you heard it now. If you didn't hear it before, you've heard it now. We're just a bit of a big deal. Anyway, all right, back to talking some hockey. We've talked Skinner. Great game. Talked Nuge. Talked Draisaitl. Talked a little bit of McDavid. We got next up Phoenix Coyotes coming into town. They just coming off a loss to Calgary, which actually went 2-2 right into the third period. Calgary was up 2-0. The Coyotes battled back 2-2. I watched probably the second half of that game. Kelly said Cassian tribute video. Well, you got to think there's going to be one, right? They're going to have something.
Oh my God, I never even thought of that, Kelly. Jeepers. Yeah. Is there going to be one for Cassian?
Well, there has to.
Where do we draw the line?
Cassian's like heart and soul.
Sure. There's a lot of Cassian-like effort last night.
I forgot. I hate to say it. I forgot about Cassian. Is he even playing right now? Is he injured or what's going on with him?
Sure. It's been tough to follow the Coyotes and give a shit this year.
Yeah. Where's he at? What's he doing? Is he even he's not even in their lineup. What's going on?
Is he healthy scratched or what?
I don't know. You still there? Who's our Coyotes friend that was on listening in earlier? Adam Bonilla was our man there. What's going on?
We probably lost him after 10 minutes like we do most people.
Yeah, he's gone. He's been scratched, he said. Yeah. I wonder, will they bring him in for the Oilers game? You got to think $3.2 million scratch.
Yeah, because there's so many people to fight in Edmonton, right? I mean, really.
Anyway,
It'd be cool to see.
I thought, look, you said it. I mean, is it really a good schedule for the Oilers given how we play seemingly to the competition every game? A team like the Coyotes, especially like Vejmelka, if he gets the start, like I'm actually a huge fan.
Yeah, you have been.
Yeah. Like here's a guy that, and you know what? I'm even a bigger fan because they'll get blown out, and the guy still shows up and puts his best effort in. Like he's he's got over a 3 goals against average, and he's a .913 save percentage. If that tells you anything.
Jeez. I'll bet you. What do you got in your savings account? About $500,000 there now. We're having a big deal at Heavy Hockey. I'll bet you half of that, like $250,000, that Dylan Gunther scores tomorrow.
Dylan Gunther.
Well, Edmontonian played for the Oil Kings. Isn't that what Edmonton Oilers do? They let the hometown kid come back and score.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not certainly certainly seems to be. And if Cassian was in, if he's not scratched, if he was in, he would probably score too, right? Guys coming back,
get an assist or get a big hit that turns the momentum or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here's a guarantee. I know what Cassian would do. He'd try to hit somebody, miss him, and slap his stick on the boards really loud to make a big noise. That's a guarantee in a Cassian game right there.
Oh man, I tell you. Look, when Cassian came in that playoffs, like if he had maintained.
Wolverine Cassian was incredible. Yeah,
unbelievable. So disappointing because you wanted to at least I did. I just wanted him to be like this good news story, right? Guy goes out, does some shit, redeems himself.
Does some shit, yeah.
Yeah. Redeems himself.
You talked about Ben Scrivens earlier that had the 60 saves. That was our trade was Scrivens for Cassian straight up. I think it was 3 days after Cassian hit a tree with 2 strippers in his car.
Yeah, like great redemption story though, right? Like because I think he's got his life on track. I don't know. I mean,
completely turned his life around. Yeah, 2 kids, two kids under the age of 3, and very happily married. And we've got some mutual friends. He's a fantastic guy. Fantastic. I think the locker room absolutely loved Cassian last year and previous years.
It's too bad. I mean, like he just changed everything about his game.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Tkachuk would get the best of him. Like Tkachuk might, kickstart him, but it never happened. I mean, it did for, 1 or 2 games. We talked about this last week. I had Neil Garrity on the show.
Right. Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Neil did awesome. Yeah.
Neil did great. Neil was he's been
no dash in the park, but
yeah, he's no dash. Yeah, that's why he'll be back. And
Neil, call me when you got 33 episodes. All right.
That's right. Call me when you got 33 episodes on Oilers Live. That's a mantelpiece for you right there.
Right. Well,
hey, I'm sending you the plaque.
More on that mantelpiece later. But
33rd.
You're gonna send me a plaque. You know what? You don't play coy. You know what my last words are gonna be tonight.
I don't. Since last time you were here, I've stopped doing the last word.
That's complete crap because I still listen to your show every week.
That's your problem. That's your problem, not mine.
There's some pride stroking for you.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Kiss ass to the boss sometimes.
Neil and I think like it really kind of hit home with me as we talked it out last week. Understanding this team needs somebody to drag them into the battle every week.
Yeah.
Right?
Said that
I actually thought
earlier about
if
Hyman.
it would be oh man, even the YouTube chat is getting a little bit hard to handle.
Jeez.
No, don't
I'm
even.
scared to look.
Don't even.
Oh boy. Wait, has Kelly asked for a story? I better go look.
No.
So I know you're not going to read that if it happens, so I better go and
No.
look myself.
No, it's not. Adam Bonilla. The player to watch is
Gosh, oh boy,
Matthias
you're right. I
Michelli.
do not want to read that. Thanks, Kelly.
The player to watch is Matthias Michelli. He's second in all rookies scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's something I've stepped away from. I need to get more of the opposing team, the upcoming opposing team, more of their podcasts on the show.
I've had a bit of an eye on Gunther all year. Just it's fun to watch him as an Oil King too. Right? I think he's got 11 points in 20 games or something. It's pretty decent for his age.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's 11 more points than I've had in my NHL career.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Dylan
I do
Holloway
understand you
just
haven't
passed
given up
me,
hope.
right? Dylan Holloway just passed me in goals.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Dylan Holloway's been to more second rounds than Austin Matthews.
Yeah. True.
Or third rounds, pardon me.
Story. True story. What's your take on tomorrow? Are the Oilers are you worried?
I think they're going to need to because they have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they go out and take a dump on the driveway again tomorrow, like there's already people worried. This was, I think last night was kind of almost a tipping point for you could see Twitter kind of turn on us a little bit last night. Like it was worrisome, right? Like that's a stretch where we have played okay hockey and, played really, really bad hockey last night. So if we come out and play really, really bad hockey against a really, really bad hockey team, no offense, Adam, and we've got injuries, and so but they don't have McDavid and Draisaitl. At the end of the day, that's all you should need, right? So I think they got to come out and throw a touchdown probably, and if they let in 2 or 3, it's Campbell's game, so you can count on at least one goal from the circles or the slot or the hash marks that shouldn't go in, and maybe a couple more on the power play for. I don't know. So I'll call it a 7-3 game, 7-4 maybe. I take the over.
You pretty much got to take the over.
Yeah.
At this point in this year, I mean, the over though has got to be getting higher. Like Vegas has got to be getting smarter on that one. Wait a second here.
We'll see if Pete has that power play. Pete has that one on his list for tomorrow. Hey,
man, yeah, you got to take the over.
Oilers Coyotes over
with Campbell in that. Yeah, he needs a good one, right? He needs to have a good game, and maybe this is the game to kickstart him. There's two minds on this, and I'm curious where you're at. Some people would tell you need to get Campbell some games, whether or not you believe in him or not. And then the other play the hot hand. Obviously, playing Skinner was the right choice. It just the Oilers were the wrong choice of team to put in front of him last night.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we don't get to choose that. But I think Skinner's done everything you could ask of him. A guy that's, it's his rookie year. He's been outstanding. He's played way more games already than I would have expected him to.
But who did expect it? Why don't you tell the listeners, Michael?
Yeah.
Who said it?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
No. Yeah. Somebody in the preseason prediction show said that Skinner would start more games than Campbell this year. What I did not know. Oh, wow. He did it last night. That's the 14-13. That's the first time that he's had more. And I didn't think he'd do it after 27 games. I thought it might happen if there was an injury, but if you'd have told me, like if I told you that in the prediction show, hey, here's my stretch prediction, Skinner's going to start more games than Campbell this year. And you said to me, yeah, it is going to happen and Campbell won't get injured. I might have said you were crazy, let alone me being crazy. So I certainly didn't expect it to happen.
I didn't know about the Campbell
this
injury,
early.
But I literally, I don't think though anybody thought Campbell would be this bad, except for maybe Leafs fans that all are saying, "Oh yeah, we knew all the time."
Yeah, but their complaints were in the playoffs in the second half of the season. Like Campbell had a 938 save percentage going into the All-Star game last year. There was Vesna talk when going into the All-Star game last year for Toronto, and he got COVID and then he got injured, and I don't know, never really got it back, and then there's the Leafs are going to blame another goalie for another first round loss. They haven't made it past the first round since Austin Matthews was 6, and they're going to blame another goalie. Yeah. Whatever.
You went and did it. Adam says you pissed off his wife when you're talking about the Yotes.
Well, you go. Tune in more often, Adam. It's kind of my job around here is to piss people off. So welcome to the club, bud.
As long as she's not pissed off,
Mrs. Adam.
We're doing you a favor.
That's right. Right? Yeah, you can thank me for deflecting after.
That's right. Yeah. You didn't do the dishes, and you got away with it tonight.
Ooh, yeah. There you go. Mrs. Bonilla, go grab Adam a beer.
That's right. The guy's he's defending your honor right now. Good deal.
Good guy.
Yeah. Oh man. This team just this year. I mean, I right at the start of the season, we're talking about what kind of trades, what this team needs, and I'd been saying this team's going to run into the trade deadline at the top of the pack or near the top of the pack at the very least, and will be easy buyers.
Yeah.
Let's not worry about trades. Like, this shit doesn't matter in season. It's starting to really matter. We're like tenuous.
This was all supposed to
tenuous hold on a wild card spot. Now, keep in mind, and I'll give the Oilers this: they've had a tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
One of, I think, the toughest schedules. And they're about to go into the time, December. It's good. This is good. In fact, a good stretch, a good time to have this. Get through that. You're, even, more or less even. They're playing 500 hockey, let's be honest.
Right.
One thing that always bugs me about the Oilers, and this is not, and this kind of goes in line with their not being able to come out and score first, or they just don't seem to be they don't seem to lead the play, right? Like, they don't lead the game. They don't come out leading the game. But we never have, and I think this says something about the team, is every other team you go down the list and they've got OT points. Right? And that, that tells me you guys can't, they're not winning games. The OT point pisses me off, but it also tells me that those teams are getting back into games and tying them up.
Right. How many times have we lost by 1 goal this year?
I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
I don't know.
It feels like a lot.
I don't know the answer either. But
rhetorical question, I guess. But
out of all the teams in the league, I think it's just let's just see. There's only 3 teams that don't have OT points: Oilers, St. Louis.
Is that right?
Islanders. And the Islanders are the only one that's doing all right there. But you need those points. You need to get back into games and get that point.
For sure.
Like, that's a bit of a fight. I mean, yeah, granted, I'm talking about this after we had 2 come from behind wins. The broadcast crew tried to sell yesterday as a potential come from behind win, which to me is garbage, because they were ahead and they lost the lead. So I wouldn't call it a come from behind win if they had come back, which they didn't.
Yeah. And I'm talking out of my ass because it's only been 4 games that we've lost by 1 goal. Just seems like a lot.
But at the end of the day, right? Like, they got it. Like, those 4 games, like, they got to come back and score 1 and 2 of them, right? Like, they have to get those clutch goals. They're not getting the clutch goals. They're not getting that extra point when they need it.
You got to stop giving up the first goal of the game in the first 3 to 5 minutes.
The first game, get into the fight.
You got to fight. Yeah, just exactly right, buddy. Get into the fight. Fight for those power plays. They didn't win enough battles last night to even deserve a power play.
Yeah. No, they didn't. They didn't.
Right?
It's awful. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be upset with this team right now, which is what bugs me. Is there shouldn't be. There should be one reason alone, and that's defense.
Yeah.
I mean, look. You were blind if you thought the defense was going to be great this year.
We all
We've
talked
been
about
talking
it.
about
Make your move at the trade deadline. Bring in whatever.
Yeah, but regular season.
But we have to get to the trade deadline in a contending spot, right?
Yeah, and it's tenuous. Anyway, we're going. As we've said, if you want to check it out, go to Eric Friesen at Eric J Friesen on Twitter. Search his thing. Actually, follow him anyway because he's got great stats. He's always. I don't know where he gets this shit from. I keep looking for stats. I miss them. He seems to have. He knows every game before it happens. He knows what he's waiting for. He's probably got him teed up. Whatever it is.
He must have a running track of something because, I think about that from time to time too. That's funny you bring that up actually because I think it happened today where they said somebody told me that Connor's got 5-game goal streak. So if he scores tomorrow against Arizona, that'll tie him for his longest.
Yeah, Edmonton Oilers posted that one today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I heard it somewhere, so it was maybe on the radio, and then the Oilers posted it. But there's Eric probably went and wrote that down because as soon as he scores against Arizona and then he scores the next game, Friesen's going to be the first guy saying Connor McDavid just set a personal best and scoring in 7 games in a row. And
yeah,
so I don't know. There's some sort of secret to it.
There's an algorithm.
Glad he's on our side.
Glad he's on our side. Yeah. Somebody will poach our stats guy.
You don't want to poach anybody from a team called Heavy Hockey.
That's right. Watch out.
Punched in the nose. Yeah.
Punched in the nose. A couple things before we shut her down for the night. Oilers Live Cup. Been posting this in my head. So for those of you either listening to the podcast recording or listening live, it's going to happen. I've made the executive decision. I haven't made a date yet. No dates. Don't write anything down. Just know it's going to happen. And for those that don't know what it is, the Oilers Live Cup has been an annual affair, charity hockey game, single game. We do a draft night. We've done in the past. We've done Team Heavy Hockey versus Team Oilers Live. We'll probably change it up, change the names. Anyways, charity. Last time we did it for Heart and Stroke. This next time, I'm not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what where we do it.
That's my ideas.
Anyway, it's an important game for a lot of reasons. Our buddy, not Adam Bonilla, but our buddy Adam died of pancreatic cancer a couple of years ago. That was tough. Good Oilers fan, good Twitter Oilers fan. Anyway, so it's important that we do that for him and just keep that around. And then, I think it's good to get everybody together. We get, it's mostly folks from Twitter. Mostly, but some from elsewhere, and we usually play at the Oilers Community Arena on a game night. So we play. Last year, our anthem singer. Why am I going blank? What's his name? Tell me his name.
Robert Clark.
Robert Clark sang the anthem before the game. That was pretty special. Hell of a guy. Great guy. Thanks for.
Yeah, he's a super dude. Yeah. My cousin knows him really well.
Yeah, and we had the mascot out. We had Hunter. Actually, it was his birthday. Do you know what Hunter's birthday is? Good charity question, or a good trivia question for you. February 29th. February
1972?
29th. I don't know what year, but 29th of February. Leap year. It's a leap year, baby.
There you go. It's like my father-in-law.
Yeah. So we had him on his birthday come out, and he was there, and just a good charity game. Lots of fun. So watch for that, guys. Over the next couple of weeks, I'll make an announcement. It's going to be second half of the season, obviously, January, February, March. We'll see. It can't be in early March because I'll be joining Dash for a little Buffalo tour So we'll be at the Sabres, watching the Sabres play against the Oilers at United, or is it KeyBank? KeyBank, right?
Ask me how jealous Jeff 8 is.
Oh, yeah.
He's never seen a game there, and you and me are going to go and watch a game together. He was a little butthurt by that.
My third time. So
first.
Love it. Actually, easy. The seats are the same. If they haven't changed them, assuming they haven't changed them, they're like the old Coliseum seats. Identical. Same manufacturer, same everything. It feels like you're at home for a lot of reasons. Yeah. Buffalo's a lot like Edmonton. Anyway, so Oilers Live Cup. Watch for that. Again, I'm going to repeat, if you want or you're interested in being a part of Heavy Hockey Network, send me a message. Send anybody that's part of the Heavy Hockey Network a message. We'll see what we can do if there's a spot for you. If you're a good writer and you want to write for us, submit a 300-word article about anything you know about hockey, Oilers, anything NHL related to Eric Friesen, and he'll check that over and give it the A-OK. What else am I forgetting? I think there's something else. Oilers play Phoenix tomorrow. Looks like Zach Hyman's back, according to one of the folks in the chat. I hadn't heard that yet, but I hope he's right.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah. I hope he's right.
Let's hope that's true and not Woodcroft playing games, because he can do that. But
yeah.
And what was he out with? Was that the cross-check from Edmonton?
I don't know.
Montreal
I
game?
don't know.
I think
I was surprised not to see him on the ice. And
he wasn't at practice when Brett and I went either. So
yeah. So let's hope he's back. I don't think it could have been that big because he finished the game, right? Like the other night. So usually that's
maybe just some vertigo or some concussion syndromes that can clear up quickly or something. Who knows? But hopefully it's the truth, because man, we need him back.
Yeah, we need
guaranteed win night if Zach's back.
Yeah. I guaranteed a win the other night, and my team came out and won. We are now 1-9 for the season.
Wow. Did you score a hat trick in the third period, like the Moose? Or
I did not score a hat trick in the third, but
have you ever scored a hat trick in your life?
Okay, I know we've talked probably way too much beer league hockey tonight, but this is a good story, and I'm going to tell this one. So
hey Kelly, it's beer league hero story time with Michael Hebert.
This is I play on a few different teams, but this team we have we lost 9 straight to start the season, 0-9. And we're playing a 6:30 game, which is, as everybody knows, an early game in beer league world. So we're playing that's like a beer league matinee, 6:30, and so everybody and as it turns out, one of the team we were playing against, which actually had Oilers logos, like they were all decked out, looked like the Oilers. We've played them once before, we lost. They're called the Bedford Oilers or something. I don't know. Anyway, couple guys knew a couple guys on their team, so everybody's wives came out. It was standing room only beer league hockey, and meaning there were 10 people in attendance.
Oh yeah.
And my buddy's son comes to us as we're walking out onto the ice, and he asks his dad. He says, "Dad, are you gonna win tonight?" And he says, "Well, we'll see." And I looked the kid in the eye. I said, "Look, his name's Parker." I said, "Parker, I'm guaranteeing a win tonight." That's what I said. We walked out on the ice, and they were the top team in the league, and we're obviously the bottom in the league. We came out and we won. We were up 4-0, 2 minutes left in the game. In Oilers style, it ended up a 4-3 game with a minute left, and we almost lost the game, or almost got it. They almost tied it up. They were so close to tying it up. But the guy whose son asked me, and I guaranteed the game, he's the guy that scored the hat trick of all people. He played the best game of his life. Maybe he didn't want me to look bad in front of his son. I don't know, but
probably what it was.
He did the moose thing. That's right, the moose. That's
beautiful.
Hey, that's where I got my inspiration from. Anyway, enough beer league talk. Thanks for listening. Holy shit, the numbers really dropped. Yeah, what the hell? It's just you and me now, Dash.
Just
you
leave
and me.
story time to me next time, okay?
Yeah, we'll take that one off air next time. All right, guys. I think that's it. I think the Oilers are going to come out and win tomorrow night. I think we'll see a good game by Campbell. If Hyman's back, expect good things. I hope we see Draisaitl and McDavid on a different line. We'll see what happens. I haven't heard anything yet about that. I'm going to try to put out a heavy hockey minute before the game tomorrow night, as is the case on every Oilers Live Tuesday. I give my guest the last word. Put myself on mute. Sometimes I say a prayer. Make sure you check out heavyhockey.com. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe. Give us a follow. Give Dash a follow on Twitter at Dash in the Park. Give me a follow on Twitter at Oilers Live. Give Heavy Hockey Network a follow at Heavy Hockey Net. Do all those things. Lots of exciting things happening. As always, Heavy Hockey Net's constantly changing, continuing to grow. As I said, too, we're going to have some really good coverage of the World Juniors and some good coverage of the Spangler Cup. We're just adding. Heavy hockey is not just Oilers talk, although it's mostly all Oilers fans right now, but we'll continue to expand and make it relevant and all of those things. And it's been just a ton of fun to work with these guys. There's about 11 of us now, and honestly, it's been one of the better experiences of my time as an Oilers fan. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, Dash. I will tell you, I just think you are the greatest guy. Now give us your last word. You're on.
Nothing like trying to butter somebody up just so you don't get thrown under the bus, eh? Well, I don't know if that worked or not. Buddy, you're one of my favorite people. This is always an honor to be on here. I get excited. I was actually nervous tonight. It's been 6 weeks since I've been in front of this camera and microphone. Real life got real busy for a while, but things are settling back down in time just for me to go and take a Christmas vacation. So this was kind of my one opportunity to kind of get back and dip my feet back in the water. So thanks for that, buddy. With that, I know you told me that I shouldn't air dirty laundry and I shouldn't talk out of school, but I have to read this text that you sent me to the readers here. And Dash, it would mean the world to me if you came back and did the next show. I can't tell you how much I miss you. Please don't tell anyone or anybody on the team how much I begged you to come back or how much my show's ratings have crashed since you've been gone. It's like I have that sad tone to it because that's how I read it. Or that I sent you that special honorary jersey for doing your 33rd episode. So nobody wants to know that Michael went and bought me this jersey right here. And he was talking about the plaque he was going to send me earlier, but he was being coy because he's already, dumping these kind of gifts on me. And I appreciate that you decided to finally start paying me. So I'll take that big bundle of money you gave me for this episode and run to the bank. Appreciate it. Love you, buddy. Love your smile. Love your takes. And I can't wait to do it with you again. Good night, everybody.
Oilerslive Podcast. Oilerslive.